Welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar, Elevate Your SEO Game. Hopefully everyone here wants to elevate their SEO game. And so in today's session, we're going to be sharing 5 ways that you can leverage your expertise to gain that competitive advantage over your competitors when you're implementing your digital marketing strategy. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. I'm seeing everyone introduce themselves in the chat, in the questions area. Thank you very much. Please continue to do that. Let us know your name, your business, and the industry that you're doing business within. It's always great to see who we have on our calls. We are LOCALiQ. We're a multi-channel digital marketing agency that specializes in local marketing. So we have digital marketing specialists who help hundreds of businesses every day with their SEO, paid search advertising, paid social advertising, display, website design, and so much more. We are part of the NewsQuest Media Group, which means when businesses work with us, we can even give them access to more than 200 trusted news brands across the UK, both online and in print. So rest assured you are in really good hands today. We've got a really great session lined up for you on today. Here's just a look at our agenda. Today is all about how you can gain a competitive advantage over your competitors in this digital marketing space, leveraging your expertise and authority and your domain. And so these are the 5 areas that we're going to cover, from conducting a competitor analysis, of which we're probably all familiar about, but we're going to talk about it through the lens of digital marketing. We're going to talk about how to analyze competitor keywords and even research keywords with a platform of choice that we use, which is called SEMrush. And we're even going to talk about how to use your expertise and authority to boost your SEO, especially by way of creating high quality content. And to guide us through today's conversation, I'm really excited that we have Alex Lindley from the platform itself, SEMrush. Alex, thank you very much for joining us. If you will, just tell the audience a little bit about yourself and about SEMrush. And yeah, it'll be great to get to know you in that way.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. Thanks everyone for being here. Super excited to be here and talk about this stuff today. I'm Alex, managing editor with SEMrush. SEMrush is a digital marketing platform, 55 plus tools. I am the managing editor for our blog, which is very active, talking about all the different ways to use those tools and others to put your business forward in the digital space. As for me, I got my start in journalism, fell in love with creating content that people love to consume, started an agency, went freelance, and finally found my career match made in heaven at SEMrush as the managing editor, talking about the stuff I think about all the time.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that, Alex. Yep. And great to hear about your background in journalism. You know, content is really like the core of all the things that we're talking about. And for the audience, SEMrush is a very popular tool, and it is one of the tools that we use for our clients here. They've got lots of different packages, but when you work with LOCALiQ, you already get full access to SEMrush, and our team implements and uses this tool on your behalf as we're managing your campaign. So the things that we're talking about is just kind of giving you a glimpse behind the curtain, if you will, of all the tools that our experts here at LOCALiQ have access to, and that we're going to put to use when we're working with your business and implementing the digital marketing and the SEO strategy specifically. Just one other housekeeping thing to let you know is that today's webinar is being recorded, and so within 24 hours you'll receive the PowerPoint slides and the recording of today, so that way you can watch it and replay it at your leisure, and hopefully be able to put into practice some of the things and tips that Alex is going to share with us on today. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to, just in that same area where you were introducing yourself, type in questions that you may have. We've got some colleagues in the background who will be answering them live, as well as, if we have time, Alex and I will take on some of the questions towards the end as well. So feel free to put those questions into the chat as soon as they come into your mind. All right, So with that, let's go ahead and jump into our topics for today. And I think the first thing, Alex, is just kind of getting a good frame of reference and a foundation of understanding in terms of what digital marketing, what a competitor analysis is in the space of digital marketing.
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's a little hard to define because it's so broad. But basically, digital marketing competitor analysis is about researching your market to identify competitors, understand their business characteristics, and analyze their strategies in the digital space. This helps you identify their strengths and weaknesses, as well as your own market position, and ultimately uncover gaps you can fill in the digital space. Um, this stuff changes all the time. That's why it's a little bit hard to nail down. But it is basically looking at all the many digital channels, which I think we'll discuss a little bit later, and seeing what your competitors are doing and seeing, can you do it better? Can you do the same thing? Or can you avoid making mistakes they made? All those things are on the table with digital marketing competitor analysis.
So, Alex, who should businesses analyze as competitors in digital marketing?
Yeah, it's a great question. You may think initially like, hey, I know my competitors, but you might also be surprised when you really dive in on the digital side. They're not all who you thought they were. Some of your fiercest competitors in the physical space may not be that strong in the digital space, and vice versa. Also, there may just be some businesses that kind of fulfill a need online that is not something that you are aware of, right? But there basically you can break down your competitors into a few types. First, you have direct competitors. So these are businesses that offer similar products or services to a similar customer segment. Basically, they're competing directly with you for market share. Then you have indirect competitors, and they are businesses that provide different products or services, but kind of target the same customer segment. So they'll kind of fulfill similar needs, if not exactly the same needs, or offer substitutes. Next, brand competitors. So these are kind of like direct competitors, but they're distinguished by strong brand identities, really important in the digital space, as well as customer loyalty and a unique value proposition. So basically in digital marketing, the focus is often on traffic, and it's really important. So competitors are websites basically that draw traffic away from your site through ads, organic search, or referrals. With that said, you can have digital and non-digital competitors. So digital competitors in online marketing, they kind of vie for the same audience using channels and strategies like social media, SEO, PPC, email, and content marketing. Words I'm sure you've heard of and engaged in, but they could be on any of those channels and emerging channels as well. In contrast, you finally have non-digital competitors. So they focus on the more traditional channels like TV, print media, billboards, radio, and even physical signage in stores.
Wow. And why is competition tracking important?
Why is yeah, it's crucial. I mean, so there's a few reasons. Basically, start thinking of it like a benchmark check. So it's like checking your competitors' like playbook to see if they're getting better results than you, or see how they're doing things differently if they are. Another reason is trend spotting. As I mentioned earlier, the digital marketing space changes pretty much on a daily basis, as I'm sure you can attest to, Brandon, and it's really hard to keep up with. Well, if you're watching your competitors, you're likely to pick up on the trends that affect your industry the most, because one of your competitors will have heard, hey, there's this new social media platform, there's this new method of doing SEO or content marketing or what have you. You'll see the trends in your digital marketing analysis of your competitors, right? You'll see what they're doing. So you can say, oh, that's a cool trend. I'd like to capitalize on that as well. Also, kind of in a similar vein, you learn best new practices and importantly, mistakes that you can avoid making. So if your competitors are competing for basically the same customers and they make a big mistake in their digital marketing and you see that, then you know not to make that mistake. Sounds simple, but it can really save you a lot of time and money. Similarly, it's not really spying, but staying on top of competitor activity. It's just a matter of staying informed on what's going on in your industry and your market specifically. So product launches, ad campaign ideas. All these things are things you can pick up that your competitors are doing if you're doing routine competitor analysis in digital marketing. And then finally, refining your goals. So goals are kind of nebulous sometimes with business. It depends on the industry, but like I just want to do better. If you see your competitors aiming for something, you see them achieving something that your business has not yet, it helps you to dial in, sort of like a GPS, sort of recalculating your route. You can dial in and see, okay, actually, I want to be here. I want to get there, and how do I get there? And you start reverse engineering what they've done.
And Alex, what's the best? So when we look at this space, what's the best competitor activity that you would suggest a business should try to analyze?
Ooh, that's a great question, and it will depend heavily on your industry and your specific unique market. But there are a few things you can keep an eye on, basically. First, you could look at competitive landscape dynamics. So that is basically, it's like keeping tabs on who's who in the digital world, specifically the world that your business is operating in. So this helps you spot the big players and the areas worth digging into. Another metric, a really important one if you're looking at websites in particular, is website traffic. So that's just how many folks are visiting your competitors' sites. That gives you a peek into how popular they are and what seems to be grabbing their audience's attention. Another one is kind of looking at their traffic channel breakdown. So where are they getting traffic from? As you probably all know, there's, SEO is one way. You can get traffic from Google search, social media, email, referral, direct visits. There's so many ways, and getting an idea of the breakdown of that for your competitors can kind of give you an idea of how to allocate your own resources. Similarly, engagement metrics, so bounce rates, time spent on site, and page views, they tell you how people are interacting with your competitors' websites and your own website. Not for nothing, it's important to know for your own self. And it gives you hints on how to spruce up your own efforts. If your competitors have a much lower bounce rate, for example, you've got to create content that will keep your website visitors more engaged. And then social media metrics. So these ones I think we're all familiar with: likes, shares, comments on social media. That tells you about how engaging the content is that your competitors are sharing. Another is email campaign metrics. So knowing how effective a competitor's email marketing is really it's really important, and it can kind of show you methods that are working. Email's funny; it's not the same for every audience, so it can be really helpful to get an understanding of what works and what doesn't. And then conversion rates. So this is kind of the holy grail. Tracking conversions can help you see if your competitors are doing things in the digital marketing arena that are actually working, because ultimately it comes down to conversions. Traffic is fine, it's great for brand awareness, but what really moves the needle is when somebody converts into a customer.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of emphasis there, Alex, especially on all these different types of metrics. And I think it's because, data can really tell a story. It can tell you whether, visitors are finding what they're looking for, or if, a new partnership that a business has implemented is really starting to pay off, among many other things. Which means insights drawn from, competitor data can really help a business, outcompete the others, as well as earn more traffic. And so I think that's a good next natural step. Now that we've talked about these metrics and analytics, maybe we could talk about a few tactics that we can use, and how we can begin to measure some of these areas. For example, like the website. Can you take us through that, and maybe even show us like how we would use SEMrush to kind of look at this competitor website traffic?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. And so, so measuring your competitors' website traffic sounds impossible, right? Because you don't have access to their sites like you do to your own site. But SEMrush has a tool
Right.
called Traffic Analytics that can help you do it. So I'll start with the broad view that it can kind of help lay the foundation for more in-depth research you might do in your competitor analysis later on. So first, if you're using SEMrush, go ahead and enter any competitor website into the Traffic Analytics tool, and then hit the Analyze button. there you'll see this dashboard that we're looking at right now. So quickly, you can see there are estimates of the site's traffic, engagement metrics, and how they've increased or decreased over time, which can be helpful for spotting trends. So I'll do a quick breakdown of what we're seeing here specifically. So you see visits there. That's the estimated total visits to that competitor's website during the given month that you're measuring. Unique visitors is the total number of unique visitors. So one visitor might visit twice, and so they only count as one unique visitor. And that can tell you something about customer loyalty, as well as kind of put those traffic metrics into focus. Pages per visit, that's the average number of pages a person visits in one session on the website. Often, but not always, if a visitor is visiting many pages per visit on average, that means you've got really engaging content, your website is put together well. So that's a helpful thing to know. Average visit duration, that is the average amount of time, as it sounds like, that a person spends on the website. And then bounce rate, that's the percentage of visitors who leave the website after seeing just one page or failing to complete a particular action within a specified time frame, like clicking sign up for the email list or buying something. All right, you can also add your own domain. You see this root domain field here. That helps you to compare these broad metrics that we just looked at for a competitor to your own, right? Now, remember though, it's really important to remember this. The traffic analytics data is based on estimates and averages. It's based on real third-party data, but then extrapolated into estimates and averages. So the best way to look at your own website's real numbers is with Google Analytics. And if you're looking at specifically SEO, Google Search Console. These things they're going to give you a direct window into what's happening on your site. Unfortunately, you don't have that kind of access to a competitor's website. All right, so let's dive a little deeper. So you can also examine traffic trends across time with traffic analytics. So if you scroll further down in the dashboard we were just looking at, you see a trend graph like so. That shows the same broad metrics we saw before, but depicted over time. That's really helpful in spotting trends and provides a forecast of what they might expect to see in a given month. You can pick up on seasonal trends that you might be able to capitalize on, for example. Also, you can add up to 4 more competitors to compare your metrics with. So it's not just one-to-one. You can pick, 4 competitors and see how they're all doing. It's going to help you spot who's really winning in the space, who to look out for, who might be up and coming that you didn't know of before. A few things you can tell from that. It can uncover a bunch of other trends. So you can see, are there spikes or significant drops in organic traffic? That's traffic from search engines, right? So are they happening every year? Are they seasonal? These are questions you can answer just by looking at this data. And then you take it that step further, think about, well, what might have caused that, right? And that's when you start to uncover what's working, what's not working. And you can act on these theories in your own strategy. And similarly, of course, you can learn what causes drops in traffic to avoid those things.
Right. No, this is really good, Alex, because outside of digital marketing, when we're comparing ourselves to our competitors, it's typically by driving past and we're seeing, how many people are going in and out, or by word of mouth, and we're just hearing so many people who are using their product or service instead of using ours, and we're like, we do it better. But when you come into the space of digital marketing, it's great because you're right. We can look at this and we can compare numbers to numbers, especially when it comes to website traffic, and we can see at different peak seasons and time periods throughout the year if there's a surge in the market, to make sure that our website and traffic is on par with the competitor counterparts. So it's great that you all have this tool. We use this tool as well as we're implementing different strategies on behalf of our clients and wanting to report back how things are performing in terms of the KPIs relates to website traffic. So this is really good. This next section that we're about to go into, now that we kind of understand what a competitive analysis looks like in the space of digital marketing, is going to go into the topic of SEO. And so I want to share this with our webinar attendees before we go deep into it, because the topic of SEO is one of those topics that can go really deep really quickly. There are a lot of different aspects of it. And so if you're new to the world of SEO, or you want to just increase your understanding, we have a masterclass series on our website. Again, you'll get these slides and the link in the deck within 24 hours as well if you just want to click through. But no matter where your level of understanding is about SEO, you can jump into one of these 3 sessions or all of them, from understanding the basics to learning some advanced strategies. So as we proceed, we're going to talk about some specific areas of SEO. But if it feels a little bit much for you, don't worry, just go back and jump into one of these masterclass series sessions. So Alex, in this next section, you're going to take us through, we're going to start talking about SEO, but very specifically the EEAT and the YMYL type strategies. And can you tell us a little bit more about those and how that makes sense for us as we're trying to, really gain a competitive advantage in this digital marketing space?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is such an important area for business owners to understand if they're interested in SEO. And of course, we love in the SEO industry to throw acronyms at you, so bear with me. So EEAT is experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. This is a concept invented by Google, given to real human beings who work for Google to assess the quality of search results for given searches, right? So they're looking for these qualities in the content that is surfaced. So basically, that is about how you showcase on your website your experience, expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness in the space that you're in, right? And Google wants to present search results to searchers that embody all of those aspects, and the more the better. Now, this is not a direct ranking factor. It's not baked into the algorithm that's actually ranking the pages, but it is what Google wants to put forward. So as you pursue improving your EEAT in your content, you're going to likely get better SEO results. YMYL stands for your money or your life. This refers to pages that could significantly impact readers in the areas of health, financial stability, safety, or well-being. So you think finance, medicine, law, current events, these are all very common YMYL topics. Why do I bring this up? Basically, you have a harder way to go if you're in a YMYL space to get Google to trust your website. You have to basically embody EEAT in a much more direct and substantial way than somebody who's maybe in a non-YMYL space, just for example, fashion or food or something like that. These are important, but if you put something forward that's not the greatest advice or something like that in your content, it's not going to drastically affect the reader's life. So basically, it's to avoid misinformation, for example, in
That
any
makes
of these
sense.
cases.
That makes sense. And so once we understand those strategies, it's really about leveraging your expertise, as a business owner, your industry experience to then also create high quality content, right? Because everyone can create content, but it's another thing to be able to create content that speaks and shares your own unique expertise and industry experience. And so, can you tell us a little bit about how our audience can begin to do that?
Yeah, that's such a great point. Thank you for making that connection. So, you as a business owner have unique insights into your industry. You have experience, you have expertise, and you ultimately are trustworthy in the space, and you're authoritative in if you present your content correctly. So, author expertise matters. This is basically the credibility of your content is going to depend on the authors. That's you, the author's expertise, and it's assessed from the writing for the most part. So for YMYL websites, it's key to have authors who are renowned in their field and have formal experience. A really easy example is letters after your name. So if you have a PhD in publications and all that, that's a great way to sort of showcase your expertise. But real life experience is just as important, especially in certain fields where you might not be able to have some sort of real official credential. So that could be, just showcasing, hey, I did the other day, I was helping a customer do blank. I suggested this, suggested that. Is showing that I actually do this stuff every day. I know this better than the average person who could sit down at a keyboard and start typing some content. All right. Okay, and then it's also about broadly the reputation of your website, right? So these are kind of, it's hard to game, but there are ways. If you're not super comfortable showcasing your own experiences or expertise, you're not comfortable as a content creator, for example, you can loop in influencers and experts in your field. So you can get reviews and links from niche influencers and experts. That's really helpful. You can quote them directly in your content on your website. Um, Basically, covering your topic broadly is really important as well. So if you are in a particular field, say the legal field or something like that, and you just have one blog post and it's on one small topic, you haven't really achieved topical authority. You've just covered one topic. And why would Google trust every website that puts out one article? They want to see you're engaged in this field, that you're actively creating content. You're really trying to help people who show up on the website understand or solve a problem. So how do we improve EEAT? I've kind of touched on a few examples. This is where people get stuck for the most part. It's kind of nebulous. It's kind of difficult to nail down, but there are a few ways to do it. First, you can create research-driven content. Now, research is often going to have to be more than going and looking at the top Google results and kind of parroting back what's there. It's about, well, what are our customers experiencing? What are our clients seeing or saying? What data do we have that's proprietary that no other business has? And can we share that? Can we put that in our content? That is a great way to not just add to the conversation, but to show search engines that you're trying to rank higher in that you are worth ranking really, really highly for critical searches that are related to your business. So it's also, good to look at what other experts in your field are talking about, and tackle those topics. You don't want to have a gap if you can avoid it. Obviously, you can't cover every single thing, but if there's a trend going on, you definitely want to have something to say there. You want to be contributing to the conversation. And you also want to closely collaborate with thought leaders in your sector, if at all possible. On top of all of that, it's crucial that your website content is accurate, functional, and legitimate. So this is big on trustworthiness. So basically, Google can't really tell if something is accurate or not exactly, but readers can. And if you're putting out kind of samesies content that is parroting stuff that's not really your data, it starts to feel inaccurate. There are a lot of parts of trustworthiness, and they can get a little bit more technical, but that is primarily the thing you want to do. But fine tuning that a little bit, you want to make sure your website is trustworthy itself. And what do I mean by that? Outbound links on your site. So when you're linking in your content to somewhere else, make sure that those are linking to high quality external references as necessary. Also that they function. Broken links, not a good thing for SEO. So if you've got bad links, don't do that. And one way to do that is to conduct routine content audits and keep your content up to date. Links that used to work can break. For example, the site you were linking to changes the website, whatever, and it can mess up. So you kind of have to engage in this stuff on a routine basis.
Yeah. Now, Alex, what would be if you had to narrow it down, what would be the top 3 pages or section on a website that a business can showcase truly their expertise and enhance the trust with their audience?
Yeah, great question. I mean, obviously, the best answer is every single page, but who has time for that? Who can actually do that on a large website? So we've got 3. These are the main ones. If you can't do anything else, the About Us page, super important. So showcasing what you do, how you do it, how long you've done it, what makes you different, and what makes you credible. Second, product and service pages. So where you're actually selling. This goes even transcends SEO in a certain way. Basically, you need to show for SEO reasons that you have EEAT, on your product or service pages. But for real human customers, they're much less likely to convert into customers, from website visitors to customers, if you're not showcasing experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness on your product and service pages. And then finally, if you don't have this already, it's a great to do for very soon. Dedicated pages for customer reviews and testimonials. There's almost nothing is as powerful as social proof. So if you have customers who are saying you are the best in the business, you do great work, you offer great products, what have you, you need to showcase that on your website. Super important. I would add it to your top navigation menu as well. And don't just limit it to that page, definitely have the page, but you can weave these customer reviews and testimonials into all kinds of content.
No, that's good to know, because sometimes, yeah, like you mentioned, you could spend an entire quarter just improving your website, but knowing these three key areas, you can almost do that very specific approach to see some short-term and immediate results almost there. I just want to do some housekeeping here, because we've got about 10 minutes left before we go into some Q&A. So we'll pace ourselves in that way. But want to let our audience know, if you have questions, feel free to put the questions into the questions in the chat area on our webinar. We've got some colleagues in the background who are answering them, and then we may be able to answer one or two of them as we get towards the end of our section. So Alex, I think the next area, now that we've talked about competitive analysis in general in the space of digital marketing, we understand that high quality content is a key to elevating our game in SEO, coming up higher in those search engine results. And in order to create high quality content, what you just described to us are the EAT and YMYL principles, and how we can leverage our expertise and our authoritativeness in our content to stand above the competitors. Now, this next area gets a little bit more technical, because it's talking about keywords and how we utilize keywords in the content in addition to our expertise and the knowledge that we're sharing. So what can you share with us about keyword use? And then I think you're even going to take us into, within a few minutes that we have left, some ways that we can use SEMrush to help us do this work in this space.
Yeah, so great, and I'll try to keep it sort of brief. I could talk all day about keywords, but it all comes back to keywords with SEO. These are the things these are the words or phrases that you want to show up for in Google. So people type something into Google, that's a keyword or a key phrase, and you want to show up for the ones that are relevant to your business. So keywords, you have to first find out which words your audience typically searches for. This is an SEO realm. Keywords can apply in paid media as well, but we're talking about SEO specifically. Basically, you got to find out what your customers are searching for, and then you have to target those searches and convince Google and other search engines that your content is relevant to those keywords, so that you show up really high in search results, hopefully number one, when somebody searches for that keyword that is relevant to your business.
And there are, several types of keywords, but I hear you've got two types of keywords that we should use in our content. And what are those?
Yeah, I mean, you can break keywords down into a lot of different subtypes and types, but kind of when you're thinking about finding keywords and then planning content around those keywords to target those keywords, you can think of them as primary and secondary keywords. So, for example, a primary keyword might be marketing funnel. I'm sticking in the realm of digital marketing. So that would mean you are going to create a dedicated page or post that is going to try to rank primarily for that keyword. But a secondary keyword is a related keyword that's probably not different enough to warrant its own piece of content standalone. It's also not as critical that you rank for that keyword, but it's still important. It'd be nice. So you're also going to target that keyword in the same piece of content. So you have your primary keyword, marketing funnel. Secondary keywords might be a direct variant, so like digital marketing funnel or marketing funnels. You can see both of those kind of they're just like small tweaks on the main keyword, and then non-direct variants are like they're kind of different. They kind of help you understand, all right, well, I need to cover this topic. So marketing funnel stages, right? So if you're talking about the marketing funnel, you're likely to talk about the stages of the marketing funnel. Now you know, as using keyword research tools, as we'll get into, that is an important angle to cover.
That makes sense. And in general, I mean, why are keywords important, would you say?
Well, there's a few reasons. First, if you rank for the right ones, you get search traffic, right? So we can see in this graphic here, like, let's see, number 5 there, digitalcontentnext.org. It's ranking for 174 keywords and getting 883 search traffic a month. Take the one, the Indeed.com, number 9, one of the biggest websites in the world probably, ranking for 2 keywords and only getting about 11 visits a month organically from that. As you can see, and we have the NFL number 8. That's another great example of more keywords, more search traffic in general. Yeah, so it's super important for getting that traffic.
That makes sense. And so some of the ways that we can begin to discover what keywords we should be using and integrating into our content. There's a tool that we can use with SEMrush. I think it's called the SEMrush's organic research tool. Is that what it is?
Yeah, yep, that's one of the several tools we can use in the sort of keyword space, but this is how you check your existing rankings. So this can be helpful when you're thinking, okay, keywords, I kind of just figuring that out. Your website, if you already have a website, is likely already ranking for some keywords, which is great news. You've got a starting point. You may not be ranking super high, but organic research can help you understand it. So you just basically plug your website, or in the competitor analysis realm, you can plug your competitor's website in there, right? You can see, okay, we are ranking for, you put your domain in there, click search, and then you go to the positions report, as you can see there in the image on the right. If you scroll down, this table shows keywords that you rank for, or the website you put in ranks for, and the highest position you rank in as of the date that you see at the top, in this case, March 17th. And then if you see an icon in the position column, that means your site appears in a non-standard search result known as a SERP feature. We've all seen these. These are the featured snippet at the top, as we see here, or right below it, even the people also ask box. There are many different kinds, and there are always new ones. Organic research can help you understand where you're, not just where you're ranking or what you're ranking for, but where on the SERP, the search engine results page, that you're showing up.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
And to find, now that's to find the ones that we're already showing up, but then to find relevant keywords that we aren't ranking for, how can we do that in SEMrush?
Right, this is the fun part. So this is where okay, I know what I rank for now, and I'm going to try to improve those rankings, but now I want to find out what I'm going to rank for, how I'm going to get an edge on my competition. And that is with the keyword magic tool. And it really does feel like magic. It's a huge database of keywords that we have compiled. It's 25.5 billion plus keywords, and you can easily search it with the keyword magic tool. So basically, you choose your target location. So if you, maybe the UK or the US, and then you enter a seed keyword. So this is going to be a broad keyword. So say you are a dog food business. So you would start with the most basic descriptor of what you offer, which is dog food. That's a good seed keyword. Put that in there, and then you see results after you click search. And you can see basically 5 types of results. And they're kind of circled in purple right there. So all keywords, this is every type of keyword related to your seed keyword. So in this case, dog food. So broad match, phrase match, exact match, and related. Broad match is keywords that contain any variation of your seed term. So might be just anything related to, but not exactly the words you typed in. Phrase match might reverse the order of some of the words in your seed keyword. It might move them around or have words inserted in between the parts of the phrase you entered, but it's still likely to be related. Exact match is just they are going to contain exactly the seed keyword term with the words in the specified order that you entered. And then related is going to really open things up. It's going to kind of go into sort of topically relevant sub areas. It might, for example, say something about cat food. That might not be super relevant, but there'll be other like organic dog food or things like that. All right, and then so basically you're going to get a ton of results if you put in the proper seed keyword. So you'll want to filter your results a bit further. And the way you can do that is several ways, but one really good way is to filter by particular sub keywords. So you can say our pet retailer in this example might focus on keywords that include raw or natural. So you would just click include keywords, that little drop down there, and then enter raw or natural to refine dog food. Similarly, you can hide brand names that you don't stock. So like Blue Buffalo or something like that, that is not something that you hold in your store. You can do that all here in the left-hand column there. You can see the little eye thing. You can click that, and that hides or shows particular results. And then also in that left-hand column list, if you need some inspiration, you can see some keyword modifiers. So these are really, really helpful for kind of coming up with, like, it's going to be hard to rank for dog food, just specifically for dog food. That's going to be very competitive, but you might get a modifier that's like best dog food, or best organic dog food, or make at home dog food recipes. And there's so many ways you could modify that keyword that you might find some that are very relevant to your business. Similarly, you can click that little box that says questions, and then you get keywords that are phrased like questions. And those are wonderful for blog posts. They're wonderful. Just write an article using your expertise in your industry to answer that question for your customers.
Now, in general, Alex, what would you say, and this will be our final slide, then we'll go to some questions. What would you say overall, just the top tips that you would have that we should consider when incorporating keywords into our high quality content strategy?
Yeah, so this is a great question, and it gets kind of tricky, but basically, first things first, when you find a good keyword, create one piece of content targeting that keyword. Please don't create multiple pages targeting the same keyword. This is a mistake a lot of people who are new in the space make, where they're like, hey, I love this keyword, this is my thing, I want to rank for, I don't know, Chicago personal injury lawyer or something like that. And then every page, they've got that keyword showing up in their content, and Google gets confused. Well, what page should rank for this keyword? All the pages seem to be targeting it, right? So don't do that. That'll lead to something called cannibalization, which ultimately is a complicated concept, but ultimately means you won't rank as highly as you could or should. Then let's see. You also want to check that you're not taking small variations. So Chicago personal injury lawyer and then Chicago injury lawyer. Should those be different pages on your site? Should you be trying to rank separately for different pieces of content, or should one be a primary keyword and the other be a secondary keyword in the same piece of content? Well, the way you check that, the simplest way, is to simply Google both keywords and see, are the results basically the same? If they are, with some small variations maybe, then you probably need to target both keywords in the same piece of content. If they're wildly different, then you might have reason to target the keywords in separate pieces of content.
That makes sense. A lot there, Alex. Thank you. We've covered so much in the last 40 minutes or so. Really appreciate you sharing your knowledge. Just a recap here for our audience, and I want to encourage you to put your questions in the chat. We're answering those as we've gone through. But also a good next step for everyone that's watching is to go to our website. On our website, and I'm going to put the link in the chat right now, we have a LOCALiQ SEO website audit tool. It's totally free, and it provides an extensive review of the most critical ranking factors search engines rely on when they're ranking a website. So it's going to consider things like that Alex was talking about, the EEAT type principles, the YMYL. It's going to evaluate your website across 100 different factors and give you some actionable results and steps that you can take, from on-page SEO to links performance, the usability of your website. So it's a great tool. It's free, so I encourage you to go to our website or just click that link in the chat. You put your website address in, and then within minutes, you'll get a report emailed to you. That's a great next step for you to take after taking in all this information from our webinar. And I'm sure you're going to want to watch this replay back, so that way you can listen in to some of those topics that Alex covered very quickly, but you can watch it a little bit more in depth in your own time. And Alex, we did have a few questions that came through the chat, and another Alex on our team was going through and answering some of them. So appreciate him for doing that. One of the questions that came through was, do you need to know who all of your competitors are, or will the SEMrush tool make some recommendations as to who some of your top competitors are?
Love this question, and it has a simple answer. Yes, SEMrush will tell you who your likely competitors are, and it'll assess that on the tool will assess that on a few different key metrics. But basically, it's going to look at similarity in keywords you're ranking for. So they might be ranking higher for keywords that your website's already ranking for. They might be operating in similar markets. Yeah, I have seen it work really, really well, just right out of the box without knowing much about your website at all, just using those data points. Yeah, but yes, so yes, you want to use your own expertise, of course, like, hey, I know who my competitors are, but SEMrush will give you a great starting point.
Oh, great there. We do have a few other questions in the chat. They have been answered, so thank you to our team who were answering the questions in the background. We are at time. I do want to encourage everyone, we talked about the SEMrush tool. You can definitely have a peruse of it, but this is the tool that our team uses every day to help manage the SEO strategies and digital marketing strategies for our clients. So great, take this information for awareness, but let us do the hard work for you. And when you click out of this webinar, you can let us know how you enjoyed today's session, but then you can also click yes if you would like help from our experts to implement your SEO or your digital advertising strategy. So I encourage you to take that survey, click yes to just getting an email from our team, and then they can talk to you more specifically about your business, some of the challenges that you're experiencing, and how an SEO strategy might be helpful for you, or if you've already got something implemented, what can be done to help improve the placement of your business, especially through the lens of all the competitors that you have in this digital marketing space. Alex, thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate SEMrush's partnership in general as a business partner, but especially with this webinar. Thank you so much for taking the time with us and sharing the knowledge with our webinar attendees. So hopefully you'll join us again one day.
I would love to. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Awesome. All right, and for our webinar attendees, thank you so much for joining us on today's session, and looking forward to seeing you at our next one. Have a great day.